Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with some more Quest to Legend. Now, I have to apologize in the beginning of this video because I realized that the first video of this new season was posted not too long ago, less than 12 hours ago, so you might not have had a chance to watch that one before. Here it is, the second one, and I'm already making changes. If you do watch that first video and you see that some of the changes I'm making here are not to your liking, then please let me know. There's nothing carved in stone here. We can always revert things back. But I do want to make a few small changes to this deck before I continue in the onwards direction. Number one, King Krush, unfortunately, just hasn't really been impressing me. He might come back, but I do want to put into effect one suggestion from a gentleman, which was to include a Mountain Giant in this deck. There are a couple of times in previous games where I've actually had like a handful of cards, and in that case, Mountain Giant would have actually been pretty spectacular. The other suggestion this gentleman made was to replace an to add in a Twilight Drake, again going for the fact that there are so many cards in my hand some of the time. And we'll test it out a little bit. I'm going to replace one of the explosive shots with a Twilight Drake, just again to kind of see how it goes. So those explosive shots haven't really been helping me that much in some of these games. So we'll see how it goes. Again, we'll always be happy to change things back. You know, if it turns out that I have too many 4-drops or whatever, then so be it. I realize that there are a lot of 4-drops in this deck, but I really want the Violet Teachers. I think those are important, getting those Violet students out and making Sea Giants cheaper. I also think that the Senjins are very important. It's important to have aggro. So maybe I could replace Senjins with Ironfur Grizzlies to have a 3-mana Taunter, and that would clear up my 4 spot. But, you know, we're going to experiment and see how it goes. Alright, so Kigon Jin here, level 24 Rogue. Definitely don't want these Sea Giants, or for that matter, the Snake Trap. Honestly, that's just a pretty poor opening hand. Alright, this is much better. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, so the problem with Explosive Trap against Rogues is that the Rogue can always, you know, hit you in the face with the dagger and then trigger the Explosive Trap for free. But if she does play Coin Defias Ringleader, then the Explosive Trap will be a perfect answer to that opener, and then we'll have bought ourselves enough time to drop our 3-drop and our 4-drop. Panther, by the way, is another card that could easily get cut at some point. I like it as a finisher card, but I could easily see replacing it either with a Harvest Golem or with... Oh, she does actually have it, or with a 2-drop, so that this deck actually has, you know, greater than 0 2-drop creatures. Well, that certainly is nice. One of the few times in my life I've been happy to be first against a Rogue, and happy that she played a Defias Ringleader. So now, these guys are dead. Now, if she wants to, she can get into a staring contest with me and not attack, trying to preserve these guys until she can play a Defender of Argus or something. But in general, when I have tried to fight hunters in a staring contest, it has not worked in my favor. So I think this opponent's making the right move. I mean, it's not the end of the world. This is one card. She traded an Explosive Trap for it. That's a victory in its own right. So I think that's a fair fight here. I'm actually going to play the Panther rather than the Animal Companion. Now, the reason for that is that this Panther can't be messed with. So it just increases the odds that whatever she plays now, I can trade it off, and then, you know, proceed about my business. That's where this deck wants to go. I want to drag the game out until I can drop my Sea Giants, my Savannah Highmanes, or my Mountain Giants even. Oh my god, if that Mad Bomber kills my Panther... Oh my god! The odds of that are extremely small. Extremely small. So I am extremely pissed that happened. Oh my god, that's fucking ridiculous. Well, the game goes on. The game goes on. So this Mad Bomber should not be on the board right now. I actually have not done the math. What are the odds of killing a Panther? It's actually a little bit difficult to compute on the fly here, but anyway, they're small, much less than 50%. So I'm kind of annoyed by that. My opponent wisely throws away the Mad Bomber. It was going to die to an explosive shot. Actually, I don't know how she knew to do that. I'm not like streaming or anything, so there's no way she could be stream sniping me or anything like that. So I could Explosive Shot just to kill this Yeti, or I could play a Violet Teacher. I'm actually going to play a Violet Teacher. Now the reason for that is that right now, if the Yeti runs into the Senjin, it'll drop to 2 health, so there's a chance that I'll be able to use Explosive Shot after on my next turn, and then kill whatever she plays, plus the Yeti as well. That is the hope, anyway. And then I'll get a 1-1 from this Violet Teacher. Granted, the Rogue has the dagger to pick off the 1-1s, but, you know, she might have more than one target at any given time. So I don't mind the fact that she's got the dagger there. Okay, so she's going to dagger up, so this is a little bit more of a control-y Rogue deck. Make a Bloodsail Raider and a Leper Gnome. Interesting. I actually don't know what the hell this deck is doing here. It's got Leper Gnome, so it's an aggro deck, but it's also got like crap like this. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, what I do know is that she did not play around Explosive Trap. She should have put the Leper Gnome in the middle. That's a completely pardonable omission, of course, because now Explosive Trap kills everything. However, I did just draw into the Buzzard Hounds combo, so if I play Starving Buzzard and Unleash the Hounds, I'll get 3 cards. And will I be able to play this guy? I'll have, oh my god, I'll have 5 other, he'll cost 5 mana. No, I won't be able to play him. But that's actually something I really need to consider here. Oh my gosh, is it worth it to do Explosive Shot and get a 1/1? Clear out her board, but then I have to wait on this. Okay, I'm actually gonna do this because this also clears her board. I can actually kill everything with that Unleash the Hounds. And I also get 3 cards, which is obviously nice. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to get a little bit cheeky here. I'm going to lay a Freezing Trap. We're going to kill that thing. And we're going to kill this thing. But I am actually going to leave the Yeti alone and let the Yeti trigger Freezing Trap. Now, she could have a charged creature and that would screw me up, but that's fine. Next turn, the Mountain Giant will cost 7 mana. After I draw my card for the turn. And, well, I might play him, but I'm kind of having the same issue with the Mountain Giant here that I do in the arena, which is that you like can't really be very flexible when you play him. But if she does not really deal with this board state, then, yeah, I'll totally just play the Mountain Giant. You know, Fan of Knives is awfully good here. I probably shouldn't have made that decision. I probably should have just used Explosive Trap, because Fan of Knives kills everything I have. It kills all these 1 toughness creatures, and then the dagger finishes off my Violet Teacher. So I probably should not have opened myself up wide to that. Well, she doesn't have Fan of Knives, so I guess that's fortunate. She kills my most important target, leaving me with quite a lot of power here. I mean, this might not look that impressive, but it is 4 power and 4 toughness. She plays an Ooze before I play my Eaglehorn Bow, which is lovely to see. And she's going to make a dagger. Alright, well, I'd say now my opponent's in a heap of trouble here. Notice, by the way, that this Mountain Giant is not nearly as good as Sea Giant. The Sea Giant would cost, like, what is it, 3 mana now? As opposed to 7. But I will play him anyway, just because it's pretty darn good. So, yeah, what we'll do here is, I'm going to kill off this Mana Addict before it becomes a problem. We're going to kill off this Ooze. Notice that I'm using the Violet Students rather than the dogs. I think that's important with this deck, because these dogs are beasts, so they turn on my kill command, which I think is nice to do. Now, the Violet Teacher will get killed by this Wicked Knife, but my opponent does now need to deal with this Mountain Giant. Sap only delays the inevitable, because I can just replay him. Assassinate would be the one answer that she needs, but then she doesn't have anything else to do with her mana, because she's basically out. No Assassinate. Is there a Sap? No, there's just Dark Iron Dwarf. Well, my opponent's starting to get into some trouble here. That is a fact. Alright, Unfortunately, Explosive Shot cannot quite kill... Actually, it can. I can trade both of these hounds and Explosive Shot, and it'll clear out her board. And then I can still play Panther, or an Animal Companion. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So we're going to shoot the Explosive Shot here. Oh, wait, could I have won the game? I should really check for that. Ah, it's too late. Well, I could have done 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I could have won the game! Oh, man. If I had Steady Shotted and used Eaglehorn Bow, I would have won. So always look for the win, kids, whether you're in the arena or not. Yeah, so we'll get rid of this Golem, smack her for 8, and then I'm going to play this Panther. Very difficult to deal with this Panther. She also demonstrated last turn she had no way of dealing with the Giant. So yeah, sometimes you'll just win games because you play a stupid big card and your opponent doesn't have an answer. She has a Molten Giant herself. So is there a Defender of Argus or a Sun Fury Protector to give this thing taunts? There... Okay. We have an irrelevant last turn Molten Giant. Unless that last card is a Defender of Argus. No, it's Ascension. Okay. Yeah, but you can see that because I missed the win last turn, I gave my opponent like a chance this turn. If she had the taunt for this, she could have potentially won the game. Alright, well anyway, now I am not going to miss the win twice in a row here. Let's just keep it simple, keep it safe. We'll get rid of the taunter. can do all that stuff. Well played. So I think my opponent's deck, if I may dare to judge, wasn't particularly good. If you're playing cards like Molten Giant, you really probably shouldn't be playing cards like Leper Gnome, I think anyway, because Leper Gnome's a really aggressive card, and Molten Giant's a little bit more of a controlling card. So I think you kind of have to pick one way or the other. She should either get rid of those Leper Gnomes and replace them with something a little bit more substantive, a little bit more durable, or she should replace the Molten Giants with more aggro so that she can be a full-on aggro deck. But I feel like she's kind of straddling a line that's not something you ever really want to straddle. But yeah, I did miss the win there, so a little bit of growing pains with this deck. I haven't played perfectly. Nicole Lungs, man, lots of Paladins. This is like the third or fourth one, so I might have to rethink this deck because, you know, Paladin is not a very good matchup in general for Hunter, I think. I mean, that's what it seems to me, especially a slow Hunter deck that lets the recruits stick on the board really doesn't want to be facing against a Paladin. Maybe if I were playing like a more aggressive aggro or board control deck, I'd be less annoyed by these reinforcements. Okay, so here we're going to get a chance to test out Twilight Drake a little bit. This would have otherwise been an explosive shot, and I would have mulliganed that. So, kind of hard to say. Oh boy, this is aggressive. All the way aggressive here with a Goldshire Footman. Well, it's tricky now. I'd say I'm already in a little bit of pressure. Even if all he does is make a recruit, I mean, I can coin out a Panther. Thank goodness, but it's a tough situation. I could also steady shot and then coin out the Twilight Drake, but I feel like that's really risky. If I steady shot, I'm gonna have there's gonna be 3 minions on the board already when this Twilight Drake comes into play, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna play Panther after Panther. And you know, here I really wish this were a Harvest Golem. Honestly, a Harvest Golem would be a whole lot better here than the Panther is. So maybe these need to get swapped out for Harvest Golems at some point. Obviously, you don't wanna like make rash judgments, you know, after every single game. But in this particular case, that's one for the Harvest Golem team. Wow, that's a pretty bad card. So it's encouraging that he's playing with it. Yeah, man, if this were a Harvest Golem, I would be in much better shape. I could kill this Goldshire Footman, be threatening to kill the other creatures, and still come back and kill like another one. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that that is not a Harvest Golem. And now, if I play this Panther and he has a Consecration, both of my Panthers will die. Interesting. That might... Oh, okay, hang on. So now Explosive Trap, that's interesting, because I could lay this and it clears out his board. I could just keep this Panther hidden until his board's cleared. And then, you know, get something bigger with it. I'm going to go for it. It's a little bit risky, but, you know, when you're behind, take risks, and I'm definitely behind here. Now, if these were Harvest Golems, I'd play differently. I would just kill the Goldshire Footman with the Harvest Golem and play the other Harvest Golem, and then I'd be in really great shape, I think. So we'll see if my opponent wants to do a staring contest here. He draws a card, which is a mistake, because if this is Explosive Trap, this Gnomish Inventor is getting 2 damage for no reason whatsoever, and since it's all of his mana for the turn playing this, it's not like he could ever use the card that he top decks into, so he really should have just attacked first. He's attacking with the correct minion, the Recruit. It's the one you want to attack with the check for freezing traps and whatnot, but a little bit of a misplay there by my opponent. Okay, I'm going to make a very conservative move here. I'm actually just going to play Twilight Drake. And I am going to just trade my Panther for that Gnomish Inventor. Which is not very tempting. It always feels wrong to trade a 4-2 for a 2-2, but I don't want this getting Blessing of Kings or Divine Shielded or any of that crap. And now I've got this 4-6, which actually Paladins don't deal with very easily. Really the only thing he can do to this is silence it. Which, okay, that's a thing he could do to it, of course, but it's not super easy for him to deal with that card. Next turn, well, it depends. I can play the Buzzard and the Panther and draw a card. But I've learned from other games I seem to play these Buzzards prematurely. I think I'd rather just play Sen'jin and hold on to those Buzzards for later. Okay, so he's going to give it Divine Shield, which is fair. So it doesn't die right away. I don't think I can kill it unless I top deck a Deadly Shot. If I do get a Deadly Shot, I will kill this thing with Deadly Shot. That is 100% a fact. It's actually going to hit the... Oh, no, sorry. I thought he was hitting my Twilight Drake for a second. Yeah, it's fair. So now my Buzzards are on a very short lifespan. We'll play Sen'jin, pop Divine Shield, and pass the turn. Now, the nice thing about this is that he's not going to play Truce Over Champions. That's one possibility eliminated. He could still play Blessing of Kings, but these 2 creatures combined will kill the raid leader, who has Blessing of Kings on it. So it'll be two for two, because 2 creatures for raid leader plus Blessing is a fair trade. You know, last turn when he had 5 mana and played Raid Leader and the Light's Justice, I think if I were him, I would have played Raid Leader and a Recruit. It's just so good to get these recruits out on the field against a Hunter, I feel. Interesting point of note is that if the Twilight Drake had been an explosive shot, then I could have cleared out his board and not needed to rely on top decking an explosive trap. Although, if it had been an explosive trap, then I wouldn't have kept it in my opening hand. Ah, deadly shot. Well, that Raid Leader now is really good for my opponent, because if I have deadly shot and hit the Raid Leader, that sort of blows. Alright, I could play Sea Giant here. I'm actually going to play the High Main, though. The reason for that is that... Well, hang on. Am I going to play the High Main? I'm going to play the High Main. I'm going to play the High Main. I think that's the right move. And we're going to actually just pass here. I could throw 2 of my creatures away into the Raid Leader, but... Or into the Lord of the Arena. But I would rather take my chances and hope that I can trade the Savannah High Main for this Lord. Stormwind Champion. Well, it doesn't immediately do anything. It lets the Raid Leader run into the Twilight Drake and get finished off by the Light's Justice, but I'm okay with that, honestly. That isn't a big deal. He's actually going to not do that. I think it's a mistake. I think he should really be killing off my Drake. He's not really in a position to be aggro against me. Because I can kill the Lord and I can kill the Raid Leader. So, yeah, I think he just messed up. Okay, well, I could play a Sea Giant here. But if I do that, I won't be able to play Deadly Shot. I will be a mana short. Actually, yeah, I'll be way more than a mana short. So, I don't want to do that. I could play the Starving Buzzard so that I get 2 cards off of the High Main when it explodes against the Lord. Or I could actually trade the Drake for the Lord and use the High Main to kill the Stormwind Champion. No, that's actually a lot better. Oh my god, that's a lot better. Now, I could actually kill the Lord of the Arena with the High Main and then the Raid Leader with the Drake. Or the Lord with the High Main and the Raid Leader with... Sorry. The Lord with the Drake and the Raid Leader with the High Main, and then Deadly Shot will kill off the Stormwind Champion. That means that my hyenas don't pop. Okay, well, what we'll do then is we're going to play the Violet Teacher. Yeah, we'll avoid popping the hyenas for now, I guess. And then I'm going to just Deadly Shot that. That's a pretty good use of Deadly Shot, I think. He says killing a 7-mana minion with it. Yeah, I think, I don't know, but I think that might be like an okay use of a 3-mana removal spell. Anyway, so that was good. He can finish off my High Main. Sadly, I didn't get cards off of it with the Buzzards, but I've got card advantage against him anyway, so I think that's fine. Plus, when this thing pops, it makes the Sea Giant cheaper. Oh no, he's actually going to go big or go home. He's going to kill my Violet Teacher. Interesting choice. Well, fair enough. At 2 health, the student can't kill it. Plus, the student couldn't kill it anyway, because the student's about to die to the Light's Justice. That is one nice thing about the Paladins. They keep making these recruits. Making it much easier for me to... Oh my god! Well, this person's clearly new at the game. Yes, that was a huge mistake because you really needed to kill this Violet Apprentice, otherwise your recruit just dies. So am I going to trade the High Main for the Stormwind Knight? Definitely. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to play Starving Buzzard. And I'm actually going to do this first. We should always draw cards first. Can I actually play another Buzzard as well? Actually, I can. Yes, I'm going to play another Buzzard. Draw a card. And then the amount of minions on the board stays the same after this trade because the Stormwind Knight and the High Main die, but then 2 hyenas pop out. So I'm going to get 4 cards now. And then the Sea Giant, I have just enough mana to be able to play it. Oh man, I finally did that right. I keep messing up the Sea Giants. So we're going to play this, and then we're going to trade off. So my opponent, had he killed my 1/1 student, I wouldn't have been able to make this play, actually. Because there would have been 1 fewer minion on the board. So that was a really huge mistake on his part. I mean, I could have still played the Sea Giant, but then I wouldn't have gotten all those cards. Alright, I've drawn 4 more cards than he has. He's going to Hammer of Wrath a Hyena. What he needed here was a Consecration, so I'm a little bit lucky he didn't have one of those, but I still would have had this Giant. If he had Consecration and Equality or Consecration and Humility, then I might have actually been in trouble, but I do have all these cards, so I would have probably been okay, actually. Okay, it's too much health for me to kill in one swoop, but I am dealing a ton of damage per turn. This is like 12 damage right here. So what I want is a Snake Trap that'll protect my Starving Buzzard. Alas, it is not to be. So what we're going to do here is play... Well, actually, I want to play Animal Companion after Violet Teacher. So that I get the card and a 1/1. And I got the Taunting Bear. That's fine. No reason to play Unleash the Hounds or Freezing Trap, so we'll just Steady Shot here. Taunting Bear actually is pretty sweet, because it stops Light's Justice from killing the buzzard, but at this point I really don't care. As long as this giant doesn't get humiliated or equality consecrated, it really makes no difference what my opponent does, because he's going to die to this 8-power hitter. MVP Nightblade! Okay, so this is definitely just not a very good deck, or a very good player, which is totally fine. I mean, we should get some easy games here, I would hope, in the rank 20s. What we have to wait and see then is, you know, just how rude is my Awakening going to be once we get into the upper teens and start playing against better players. This deck is very weird. So can I actually kill him? Let's see. We have 8, 11, 12, 16. Yeah, we do actually have enough damage just with our minions. So some odd choices in play and deck construction from the opponent gives us a victory here. But I kind of shudder to think what a good Paladin deck and player will be like. Alright, up to Shield Bearer. I think if I win another game, I'm going to be up to a winning streak, which would be nice. Man, those winning streaks make a really huge difference. Like, absolutely gigantic, especially when you're on the cusp of getting one. So either you go up 2 stars or you go back 1. That's like 3 games worth of swing every single time you have a winning streak on offer. It's a strong motivation to have a good deck and play well. So, the changes then. Mountain Giant, I guess it was okay. It was better than King Krush. I'll give it that at the very least, because I played it for 7 mana. King Krush is 9. And Twilight Drake for Explosive Shot, I'd say, is inconclusive. Grave Raper, that's a nice name. I think Deadly Shot with an Eaglehorn Bow in hand is something you can mulligan. I wish I were going second, but I pretty much always want to be going second with this deck just because I have a glut of 3-drops and 4-drops and no real 2-drops, other than my, like, traps. And playing a trap on turn 2 is always speculative business, but what I'm finding is that, you know, as long as the opponent's a little bit slow, it doesn't really matter if I'm slow as well. We can have a gentleman's agreement, and it seems that my deck is pretty strong against, no, not all, but most decks, just by virtue of its having such giant minions, and it seems like a lot of people now aren't really playing with too many answers to 8/8s. Not that there's like that many answers, period, but... Okay, this is, it seems, an aggro deck. I will take a small chance here. This is risky. You don't want to do this, you know, lightly. Taking 2 damage to the face like that against a deck that has clearly demonstrated itself to be aggro, and against a hunter, no less, who's going to be dealing 2 extra damage to you all the time. But I think it was worth it there to get rid of that. Oh my god, he has the ooze. Well, that's life, I suppose. So now, I will just play Violet Teacher. It could get Deadly Shotted, of course, or other weird stuff like Dark Iron Dwarf on the ooze, but I feel like it's worth it to spend the extra mana and just put the better creature out there. I might want the mana savings of these 3 mana cards later on. Animal Companion, that shouldn't be able to kill this unless it's a pig, and it's not, because the Leok doesn't buff this enough. Does he have a Arcane Shot? He's fingering cards like he wants a 2-for-1. No, he's just going to go for the face. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, can't quite kill this Leok unless I flip my own Leok. Well, we're going to do it. Let's flip a Leok. We flipped a Leok! Yes! So that is what I really want to kill here. Although the ooze hits harder, the Leok I think is overall more dangerous. You know, I messed up, folks. I'm sorry. I should have totally played Unleash the Hounds here. I could have killed the ooze with it and still had a hound on the board. Slight mistake. I will play Freezing Trap, though. Not only does that give me a 1/1, but it takes his minion off the board since I failed to make the correct play of playing Unleash the Hounds. Oh god, that would have been a really good play. I still would have gotten this student, but I would have also gotten 2 hounds, one of which could have killed the ooze and the other one could have just stuck around and swung for the fences. Okay, I guess he has Unleash the Hounds himself now. It's a little bit weird. He plays Unleash the Hounds and gets a bunch of hounds, and if any of them live, then I play Unleash the Hounds and I get a bunch of hounds. I don't know, it's a difficult situation here. If this Violet Teacher, well, the Violet Teacher can survive because the ooze will get frozen trapped. But if he has a kill command or something to kill it off, or explosive shot or something, I suppose that, interesting. He's going after the Leok. Why would he go after the Leok? That might mean he has an explosive trap? Because the Leok doesn't die to the ooze unless he was going to deal some sort of supplementary damage. My opponent does have a bunch of cards, so he could do some scary things. He's going to Rifleman and lay an Explosive Trap? No, Arcane Shot. Okay. Well, the good news is that I still have my Leok, so I can just trade away my Violet Students for that. Oh my goodness, that's pretty good. Alright, we're going to put it over here. And we're going to then kill the Rifleman. This is a pretty decent situation. My life total is high enough that I'm not that scared. Got a 9-8, which is protected from Deadly Shot, against Deadly Shot by this other stuff. I correctly played around Explosive Shot, putting my weakest minion in the middle. Pretty happy with my play and with how things are going in this game. If this student survives... Oh, man, it is going to survive. Okay. Oh, he's going to coin out. Damn it. I was kind of hoping he would be done there. Swampoos. Alright, I think this is so he has another Swampoos. He has the one that was frozen, and then this is another one. Okay, well, now I will definitely play Unleash the Hounds. That is 100% the right move. Because I need to be able to kill off his crap. I can't play this other Unleash the Hounds because they won't fit on the board. But yeah, let's just see. I could try to flip another Leok, but I'd actually rather play Senjin for the taunt. I feel like that's good to have against a Hunter. So yeah, we're going to do this. And I'm just going to go ahead and trade everything out. Play Ascension. I'm playing him off to the right to play around explosive shots still. This is actually really difficult. This is like, it's hard to give a Hunter a situation that he can't play around, but this is about as close as it comes, because Unleash the Hound is not effective with this Senjin in play, and then Deadly Shot's not effective with 2 other minions. He's actually got a lot of trouble. Kill command to kill my Leok. Well, the problem for him is that Senjin on its own is still strong enough to kill an Ironfur Grizzly. Alright, can I win? Let's see, I can kill that, I can deal 8, so I need to deal 5 damage to him. I can steady shot for 2, but then I can't do the other 3. Now, I could play Starving Buzzard and Animal Companion, and then I still have enough mana then to steady shot. So I'm going to go for it, because I could potentially win the game right here. Explosive Trap. Well, I think with that pig I do win. I needed the pig, actually. I needed either the pig or a good top deck. Alright, so we beat a Hunter. That seemed to be a pretty decent deck. He was playing with some iffy cards, the Frostwolf Grunt and the Ironfur Grizzly. I don't think are used in any metagame decks right now, so I probably just might, to be totally honest, my deck probably just outclassed his because it had better cards like Sea Giant and stuff. Well, anyway, that was a pretty good game. So we're on a win streak. Very exciting now. We can jump into rank 19 if we win this next game. So in that game, we did not see the Twilight Drake or the Mountain Giant, so our little experiment is still somewhat inconclusive, although I'm inclined to say that while Mountain Giant might not be a good card in this deck, it probably is a better card than King Krush was. Which is sad, because King Krush is so fun, but I guess it's just not quite constructed good enough. Black Hole Sun, the Mage. Always going to be a tough battle against a Mage. Alright, well, I think that... Okay, so I'm second. I could actually keep this Mountain Giant. Let's see, 8 mana, no sorry, 7 on turn 1, 6 on turn 2, 5 on turn 3. Yeah, if I play literally nothing, then the Mountain Giant gets dropped on turn 4. As when you're the second player. I don't actually want to go for that, though. I'd much rather, like, actually, you know, get real cards like my Panthers and whatnot. Okay, there we go. Got a Panther. So, basically, on turn 2, it looks like I'm going to be steady shotting unless I can get another 3-drop like Animal Companion. Mana Worm, of course. Well, that's just life. I might have to Deadly Shot that thing. Although, if she plays a Mirror Image, it's just going to be one of those games. I would like to, you know, not have to coin out anything next turn and just steady shot. I hope she just Fire Blasts my face. Because if she Fire Blasts my face, I'll be totally happy to steady shot on turn 2. Play the Panther on turn 3, use that to kill the Mana Worm, hopefully. And then just start playing my good 4-drops after that and take over the game. Hopefully. Nope, it is not to be. She's going to play a Geomancer. That's unfortunate. Do I play the Jungle Panther here? Oh, okay. Well, since I got the Animal Companion, yes, I will play Jungle Panther now. And use it to trade against one of her minions. Would I rather that this were a Harvest Golem? Probably. Because with the Harvest Golem I could kill the Geomancer, although not the Mana Worm. Oh geez. Well, that's a shame. Oh my god, Arcane Explosion. Well, now I definitely wish that it were a Harvest Golem. Because the Arcane Explosion here, backed by Kobold Geomancer, killed that Panther. Alright, well, I hope I get the Charging Pig this time. I flipped a Leok. This is one time in my life I didn't really not want to flip a Leok. I wanted to have something that could kill this, either immediately or at least the next turn. So, this is bad. I have a decent number of cards, but... Oh god. Oh god, this spell damage situation is going to be bad. It's going to be bad. So I'm already dropping way low. Sea Giant can't quite be played just yet. I could play a pair of traps, but I honestly don't even know what I gain from that. Yeah, alright, we're just going to play Senjin and bemoan the fact that this Shield Bearer survives. So she has +2 spell damage, which is absolutely fucking terrifying. She could, like, Frostbolt my Senjin Shieldmaster, for example. And then the Mana Worm would grow. Oh, this is bad. Or Arcane Explosion just to deal, 3 damage across the board. Like, no big deal. So the Fire Blast now will finish off Leok. Well, she's okay. So my Senjin holds up. That's something. Do I play Sea Giant? I think I'm going to play Sea Giant. I think you got to do that. Now, a Fireball will actually kill this because she's got +2 spell damage, but that will be most of her turn. And then, as long as she doesn't have anything good to do with the rest of her 2 mana, I can use the Sea Giant to, like, kill off the Dalaran Mage, for example. And then play a Violet Teacher and make a trap, and I might actually sneak my way back into this game. I would not say that I'm ahead, though, here, because Mages have Fireball and Polymorph, which will get rid of the Sea Giant. Well, she's spending a long time. I imagine if you had a removal for an 8/8 that you'd do that fast. She's going to freeze my minions, start to ping away at the Sea Giant, which is totally fair. And she's continuing to pass. I don't know that that's the right move. Well, let's go ahead and play Violet Teacher and lay a trap. So which trap is right? Snake Trap for 3 1/1s. She's already used up both of her Arcane Explosions. But if she has a Flame Strike... Flame Strike will actually clear my board because it's got +2 spell damage attached to it. Alright, I'm still gonna play Snake Trap though. I'm gonna trust my instincts here. Freezing Trap wasn't gonna be that effective anyway. It would just eat her Mana Worm and she could be played for 3 mana. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So I hope she doesn't have a Flame Strike, because if she does, my board dies. It would be 6 damage across the board with the +2 spell damages here. She has it! God damn it! Well, we're in trouble. The good news is she did that before triggering my Snake Trap. She's actually not even killing my Giant. Oh no, she is killing my Giant. Thank God. I was gonna say she's like going to go for the kill here. So get these snakes, which could have died to Flame Strike, but they didn't. So I have a chance. 14 health when again you're up against a mage is a little bit scary, but the good news is that the good news is I can at least control the situation here. I'm gonna just kill command this. I'm not even gonna bother with Freezing Trap. Let's just kill it. Let's not even put it back in her hand. So yeah, so the good news is that she would need to pretty much get both of her fireballs, or a fireball and a pyroblast, to kill me. And she's only got 3 cards. If these are minions or something stupid, then I could actually still be okay. But yes, if she does get like basically a fireball and a pyroblast or 2 fireballs, then I lose, because I have no life gain in this deck. I rely on being able to hold up in the early game, and I was not able to hold up in the early game because of those Arcane Explosions, and because my Panthers were not Harvest Golems. Archmage, well, that's lovely to see. As long as she doesn't have another minion. You've got to be kidding me. Crap, I can only kill 1 of these, so Deadly Shot is likely to whiff. Oh my god, thank goodness. That was, I have to confess, a very timely top deck. So now I can actually kill this Archmage with Deadly Shots. I would have, by the way, if you're curious, I would have just gone for it. I would have had to take the 50-50 chance if I wasn't able to get rid of that mirror image, because I can't afford to let her keep spell damage around. So she's down to 2 cards. A Fireball and a Pyroblast do just win her the game, because she's got so much health that there's no way I can catch up in time. But if these are dumb creatures or something, then I might be able to catch up and win. I'm actually kind of low on cards myself. Freezing traps are not super great right here, because basically, freezing trap only matters if you leave your opponent with a minion on the board to attack with, and I don't want to ever leave her without any minions, like, ever. And I kind of need to get my own minions. Luckily, I've got Sea Giants, which I could play. Mountain Giant, I cannot play. Mountain Giant would cost 10 mana right now. That would be pretty bad. And Savannah Highmane would be pretty good as well. She goes up a card, which is actually really devastating at this point. Dalaran Mage kills my Snake. This 4 power is annoying for the Senjin and for the Eaglehorn. Explosive Shot, is that worth using here? Man, Freezing Trap is just awful. Like, really awful. Okay. God, is that worth it? Do I dare leave this on the board for a turn? Yeah, I'm gonna kill it. Gotta be done. I won't swing at her face just yet. If there's a chance, she'll play a charging creature, and then that will trigger the freezing trap. Although she seems to be playing with every single spell damage minion. She's got Geomancers, the Dalaran Mages, and she had an Archmage. I'm guessing she has 2 of those as well. Yeah, there's just not that many minions I can think of that I'd be comfortable leaving on the board at this point to run into my freezing trap. Note that you cannot play 2 of the same secret, so this other freezing trap is not playable. I can deal 3 damage a turn. Oh, jeez. That's bad. Oh, that's really bad. Crap. So she's gonna start getting cards now. Man. Well, shit. There's just not much I can do. I can't attack this. I can't afford to take 4 damage to the face. So this thing will just have to be left alone. Sea Giant, just barely playable. No! It's a mirror entity. Why? Okay. Well. Okay. Crap. You gotta play to your outs. So I do die now to Pyroblast, and I pretty much died to Fireball. But I had to do that so that the Sea Giant would get frozen trapped. The only way that I can win is if she doesn't have those removal spells, and I can swing with my Giant, like, twice. So this now costs, actually, 10 plus 2 is 12, 12 minus 1. This thing costs 11 mana at the moment, so she can't currently play it. No! She has the Polymorph! Ah, that was my only hope. Fuck. And another Arcane Intellect. Well, that's a bitch. So I'm really boned here. I don't think there's any way I can possibly win. She has way too much health for me to steady shot her down. I mean, I guess I'm not going to concede just yet. But I really needed her not to have a Polymorph there. And at any time she can top deck a Pyroblast, assuming she has one, and win. Or a Fireball and a Frostbolt and win. Yeah, Mage is actually the only person I've lost to so far has been a Mage. I didn't think Mages were that popular in Constructed, and maybe they're not, but... Well, actually, Trump did post like a free Mage deck on Reddit that, like, he got him to Legend, so that's been pretty popular because it was very cheap. So maybe that's going to be seen a lot. Okay, Ogre Magi. Yeah. I'm just going to Frostbolt my face to stop me from attacking with my bow. Oh, so she just, did that for absolutely no reason. I'm not even going to give her well played. What is it with these bitch mages who play meanly? Anyway, Black Hole Sun gets the kill. We do lose a star. So I was almost up to rank 19, and then not quite. I don't want to put in healing cards into this deck. I don't want to put in, like, Earthen Ring Farseer, because honestly that wouldn't have even saved me in that game. But it is kind of frustrating how if a mage gets you down to 15 health, you just pretty much lose, because they can always just top deck 2 spells at some point, and as long as their health total is high enough, you can't catch up. Anyway, maybe, you can't have a 100% win rate. So, maybe if I'm just going to lose to mages, that's just how it is. And here's another mage, of course. Okay, so when I'm first, I definitely am not going to keep a Mountain Giant, that's for sure. And Unleash the Hound's a bit early, but we'll keep this as a 3-drop. I kind of need those sometimes. Sea Giant. Better than Mountain Giant, anyway. It'll likely come down earlier. Dang. Yeah, if this deck is really weak against mages, and if people keep playing lots of mages, I might have to change it to something else that's better against mages. Like a warrior, I could play Warrior again for the healing, or maybe Priest. I haven't played Priest yet. I do love Priest against a Mage. I think that Priest is the best class to be when you're up against a Mage. Fucking Mana Worms. That's 2 in a row now. Mage is having a Mana Worm against me. I will play Freezing Trap here. I think it's worth it, given how out of control these Mana Worms get. They do so much damage. Like, it doesn't seem like it, but, you know, they hit you for 1, then, like, they play a couple spells and they hit you for 3, and then they play a couple more and hit you for 5. And it's like, well, now all of a sudden this Mana Worm has dealt, like, 9 damage to me, and it's a 1-mana card. That's better than Leper Gnome. Luckily, this opponent, other than the Mana Worm, doesn't have anything to do, so she'll just Fire Blast me. And now I'm going to play an Animal Companion. Hopefully it's the Bear or the Leok. Ah, the Pig. Well, the damage is nice, but I don't really like the 2 health. Because now if she replays that Mana Worm for 3 mana, and I kill it with the Huffer, then she can just Fire Blast it down. So she has a very slow start. She's actually Fire Blasting Pig, or she's thinking about Fire Blasting the Pig on turn 3. I unfortunately also have a slow start. I actually have nothing to do next turn. Frost Nova, wow, that's aggressive. I don't think that was right at all. I think she would have been better off just pinging this. Well, I returned the favor by passing my turn, so my curve is biting me a little bit here. I hope she does something like play a Chillwind Yeti. That's not super unlikely, given that she's had nothing to do yet. And I can Deadly Shot it. Really? The Mana Worm? She's playing the Mana Worm. That's annoying. Okay. Well, I am going to, because I have nothing better to do, I'm going to tactically use a Deadly Shot here. And do I lay an Explosive Trap? Nah. Let's just Steady Shot. So, this Pig now has done 8 damage. So for all of my moaning, because my opponent's start was like so slow, this thing actually did 8 damage to my opponent, which is kind of a lot. And we achieved the objective of the deck, which is just to hang on until turn 6, when we can start playing our big stuff. Just gonna Fireball my 3-mana minion, that's fine, especially after it's already done 8 damage. The real question is this Highmane about to get polymorphed? That is the question. If it does get polymorphed, that will be my opponent's entire turn, and then I have another one, so as long as she's not holding both of her polymorphs, I'm fine. Granted, the odds of her holding both of her polymorphs are a bit higher than usual here, just because of how slow her start was. Interestingly, she does not have a polymorph, which is good news for me. And she's going to play a secret. Well, we've got a couple of options here. One option is to play, well, no, I can't do that, can I? I was thinking I can make a Sea Giant happen, but I actually can't. Never mind. Okay, one option is just to play Deadly Shot and swing. Another option is to play the Highmane. Problem is if that's Mirror Entity. God, Mirror Entity is so fucking annoying. Well, there's really nothing I can do if that is Mirror Entity, is there? Oh, God, Mirror Entity would be so bad. Crap. Alright, I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to actually check for these other traps first before I check for Mirror Entity. Hopefully it's Vaporize. It isn't! Well, okay, so what we're going to do here is we're actually going to go for the kill. I'm going to Steady Shot, lay an Explosive Trap, Counterspell. Well, that's annoying. And then I'm going to Deadly Shot? Yeah, I might as well just Deadly Shot. So now I'm threatening to kill her with the Highmane plus Kill Command. So she needs to either Polymorph this thing or Taunt. And then she's dead in 5 turns to Steady Shot. She top decked a Frostbolt, not as good as a Polymorph, but it does stop me from attacking. And Water Elemental. Alright. So here, double Kill Command is just the win. Always look for the win, kids. Always look for the win. I was probably going to win anyway, because I could play the Sea Giant there. I could also play the Highmane and Steady Shot. It was looking good. So that was a mage who did not get off to a fast start against me. And as a result, I was able to play the game my way and win. So far, we've actually played quite a few games, and mage is the only class that has beaten me, although mage has beaten me twice. Let's do, I don't know, a game or 2 more. It'd be nice to get to rank 19 in this video. I would say then that we are off to a pretty fast start, getting up to 19 in 2 videos. My intermediary goal is to make it beyond where I hit last season. Last season I only made it up to rank 14. My next intermediary goal is to make it up to rank 10, because I've never actually broken past 10. And then, of course, ultimately, we're trying to get to Legend. To be honest, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that this month, because I'm still working full-time, but I will be part-time as of April. And then I'm going to try to do an arena run and a quest to Legend every day or every other day. It depends on how much streaming I start doing. This is another mage. Oh, my lord. Okay, we're all going to keep the explosive trap and the bow just to have all the removal. Maybe the last two mages played a mana worm on turn 1 against me, so this one won't. I do have the bow, which will kill a mana worm on turn 2, which is nice. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, wow, I'd forgotten what it feels like not to have a mana worm played against me on turn 1. That's so crazy. Hopefully my opponent fire blasts me. Perfect. So now I don't even have to I don't have to use the coin. I don't want to use the coin if I don't have to. Do I explosive trap or steady shot? That is the question. The problem is that explosive trap is, I think, a bit too likely to get wasted given how slow her start was. So I'm going to steady shot here. We're just going to have our little gentleman's agreement. And then I actually am probably going to use the coin to make a minion if she doesn't do anything significant. Because, I mean, yes, you can keep the coin to try to, like, you know, pump up the Violet Teacher. Alright, that is almost certainly mirror entity. So I'm going to play this Animal Companion, which conveniently does not trigger mirror entity. Got the pig, so I'll get the check for Ice Armor Vaporize. And it's one of those. It's Ice Armor. Well, that's a pretty bad card, honestly. Although, it did serve a function, which is that it prevented me from actually making one of my 4-drops. The pig again is quite unfortunate. So yeah, Leok and Misha would have both survived this Frostbolt. She would have had to use her last 2 mana killing it. Although she had that 2 mana to spare, so I guess I just took an extra damage. So that's not really the end of the world. Okay, Twilight Drake, whoa. Well, this is a time when I am glad that that was a Twilight Drake and not an explosive trap, because 4/8 is kind of amazing, and now she pretty much has to use Polymorph on it. And if you can, you know, playing this deck with Sea Giants and High Mains, if you can bait out Polymorphs on against your Twilight Drakes, I'd say that you're pretty much winning. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play Violet Teacher. I'm going to actually coin out a trap, just to get some stuff on the board here. And which trap do I want? Well, it's a tough call. I think I'm going to go for Freezing Trap. That seems more likely to be useful. And I'm going to hit my opponent with the sheep. So I got 2 students here. The Sea Giant could be playable next turn. If she, like, burns my sheep and then plays a minion, I actually do get to play Sea Giant. Fuck! No! Ugh, I hate these secrets. This is really obnoxious, actually, because she's freezing my team, so I cannot test for Ice Armor and Vaporize, but I can't really play a minion either because I don't want to give her a minion. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to play... Oh my gosh, wait, I do have a Freezing Trap here. Fuck you, I am going to play the Sea Giant. So if she gets a Mirror Entity, which she did, I couldn't care less because it's going to get Frozen Trapped. And then this thing is going to be pretty expensive. Well, it'll be playable, but the delay is all I really care about. And 1 Polymorph has already been used. Fireball doesn't hit hard enough to kill this, even with the help of Fire Blast. So my opponent needs some very specific answers here. She's going to freeze it. Well, that's annoying. And then the Sea Giant gets frozen. Now, I need to really think carefully about the cost of that Sea Giant. Basically, it costs 6 mana right now. Alright. Do I get rid of this Violet Teacher? I think I really want to play this High Main. Yeah, I want to play the High Main. And I am going to throw my minions away to stop her from getting her Sea Giant down. So now the Sea Giant costs 9 mana. She's 1 mana short of being able to put it down. And there's 2 minions that she has to polymorph. So I'd say that I'm in really good shape. Next turn I can drop 2 really good 4-drops, or 4-drop and the spell. She's going to draw cards for almost half of her mana. I'm totally fine with that. I think I'm doing alright on cards anyway. She's got 7 cards to my 8, soon to be 9, so I'm like actually ahead on cards. Even after she spent almost half of her mana. Well, it's not really correct to say almost half of her mana. She spent 37.5% of her mana drawing cards. And I don't really care about this, so I still have 4 power on the board. That's totally fine. Now, Sea Giant, her Sea Giant costs 8 mana, so she is going to get to play it. And that's kind of unfortunate. What is not unfortunate, though, is the fact that I can, you know, beat the crap out of her. Question is, how aggressively do I want to start steady shotting right now? Is it better to steady shot or play minions? Well, these both survive a flame strike, so I am going to play them. The only way I can really get burned is if she plays a Kobold Geomancer and Flame Strike. Then these two will both die, but the Sea Giant will still survive. And then I'll get to hit her for, that'll be her whole turn, I'll get to hit her for 8 down to 9, and then she's going to be really, really screwed. So she has the Flame Strike, but she does not have a Kobold Geomancer to back it up. So that means that my Sen'jin will actually survive, which in turn means that I'm hitting her for 11 damage, 12, 13, 16 damage, and then she's dead the following turn. I'm at a really high life total, so she can't really catch up. And that's going to be the game. So yeah, we're going to just swing, 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 and really I don't think it even matters what I do so much, but I guess we'll just play a trap. She is dead in so many different ways. I just don't even know how a mage could possibly catch up. I guess she could play like Priestess of Elune, and even though that got 3, 4, 5 damage, yeah, she's just dead. Well, there's the other polymorph, but I'm going to say that it's not that lucky that she didn't have it before, because that Twilight Drake that Mustard Mitt recommended was really clutch here, because it baited out a polymorph, which meant that my high main and my first Sea Giant lasted for longer than they probably had any right to. Okay, so, well, mages are the only class that have beaten me, but I have beaten them too, so I feel like I'm doing alright against mages. Let's play one more game. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you have a preference for how long you want these videos to be. I do respect that I have kind of two competing audiences, one of which has a short attention span and wants shorter videos, and one of which likes the longer videos because they just want to sit down and watch them all in one fell swoop. I think they've been around an hour or so, I don't know. But anyway, let me know if you have any preferences for how long you want these to be, in addition to suggestions for the deck. So, I would say that the Twilight Drake for Explosive Shot, again, maybe not the perfect card, the Twilight Drake, but I think it's definitely better than the Explosive Shot. I have not ever missed it yet. There was one game where, had I top-decked a Mountain Giant, I would have really regretted not top-decking King Krush instead, but I think that was probably an improvement as well, though I'm not sure it's the perfect card for the deck yet. I mean, like a second Twilight Drake, honestly, in place of that Mountain Giant might be better. Then I'll have a lot of 4-drops, like a lot, like 2 Sen'jins, 2 Violet Teachers, 2 Twilight Drakes. Well, that's 6 of them? I mean, I guess that's not that bad. It's a bit heavy for 4-drops, sure. Really, I think the Panthers are a weak spot as well. I might want to trade them in for Golems, or maybe even some sort of a 2-drop. Wow, this queue is pretty long. In fact, the game has crashed. Okay, well, never mind. I'm sorry, folks. Since the game has crashed, we'll use this as a natural stopping point. I just hit rank 19, and we'll be back soon with more Quest to Legend. As always, please like and or subscribe if you enjoyed that video. I'll see you next time.